Dear brothers and sisters, as we all gather together in many different parts of the world, many times we wonder, did God give us the right skills? We look at other people and we start to feel as if they learn things faster than we do. They're more skilled at whatever they're doing. And this question starts to come to us. Is something wrong with us? Or something lacking in us that we are unable to achieve in life as we find others who we live with? As we ponder on that question, one thing that we generally forget is that each and every one of us is very, very special. God has given each and every one of us some talent, some skill. For some, that skill might be in the sports arena. And these are the people who excel in sports. For others, it could be skills or talents in the artistic arena, like music or poetry or painting or sculpture. And then there are others who seem to understand how things are put together very easily. These are the people who tend to become engineers or scientists. And we also find that there are many people whose talents are in making others feel better. And these are the ones who go into the medical arena or into nursing. And when we start to look at everyone around us, we will find that each one of us has very special talents. Now, how are we to find those talents? God the Creator, who brought everything into being, is the one who put all of these planets into play, who brought all regions of existence and created everything that is there in creation. We try to look for the talents which we think are going to be useful to us as we live. And so our feeling is that the talents that we need to have are the ones which generally should be either physical or mental or emotional. We all feel if physically we are talented, that our physical body would be fit. If a physical body is fit and we don't get any diseases or we're not sick, then life would be well. Many people feel that if their intellect is developed more, if they become more knowledgeable, then they are going to do better in life. They might get a better job, they might make more money, they might be able to provide for the family much better. And many people focus on the intellectual talents and try to gain those talents for themselves. And then there are others who look at the emotional talents. Those who can lend an ear to someone else when they're in trouble, those who can comfort someone else when they're going through a difficult period, those who can heal the pains of others. And as human beings, those are the three arenas in which we are always searching to be talented. And many times, like I said before, we feel that we maybe are not as talented as someone else. And when we have that feeling, then we don't put in that kind of an effort which is needed for us to get good at whatever we want to gain. Saints and mystics who come into this world, who've always exhorted us to know that being in the human body is a great boon. That we are the chosen ones out of the billions and billions and billions of souls in creation. Those souls which are picked up to have the human body have been provided with tremendous talents. And those talents are one that we don't focus our attention on. Our attention is always on the talents of the world outside. Little do we realize that greater talents are available to us if we focus our attention not on the world outside, but within ourselves. Because the divine is within us. It's the divine who brought all creation into being. It's the divine who put the smallest of the ants and the biggest of the planets in the universes. It's the gifts of divinity that are embedded in each and every one of us that we can experience. And so, as we focus our attention away from the world outside, and as we focus it within ourselves, then we are able to connect with the greatest talent that we have. And that talent is to truly, truly know ourselves, gain the knowledge of our true self, and then to gain knowledge of the Creator. That is to be able to find the connection between ourselves and God. That talent is hidden deep within each and every one of us. And each and every one of us can gain knowledge of our true self and gain knowledge about our connection with the Creator. The mechanism by which we can experience this talent is called meditation. Now, when we meditate, we're asked to be stilled. We're asked to still the body and still the mind. And as we start to still the body and still the mind, in the stillness of the body and the mind, light sprouts forth within ourselves. Now, as we experience the light, many people get enamored by what color light do they see? What does that mean? Is there something else? Are they going to see a sky or the stars or the moon or the sun? And they get enamored just by feeling, hey, I went and saw this big star. I wonder what someone else saw. We try to analyze what we experience in our meditations. And as we meditate, that is the mechanism that we use to see if we are progressing. True progress on the spiritual arena is when we start to experience the light of God in every living form. I'd like to talk about an example. There was a man, a pious man, a good man, who was living in a village. He used to meditate regularly, and as he learned the techniques of meditation, his meditations would get deeper and deeper. And to meditate, he would sit in stillness. And he realized that the most difficult part of meditation was to deal with the thoughts. He decided for himself, the thoughts come when you interact with others. And so he started to spend more time by himself. When he talked, he wanted to talk positive, but he realized that most people wanted to pull someone else's leg or say this is not correct and that is not correct. So he stopped talking with people. As he lived in the village, people started to feel that this person doesn't talk to anyone, he doesn't relate to anyone, something must be wrong with him. And so slowly, people were staying away from him. One day, as he's walking through the village, he has a lunch with them. A park comes in, he goes to the park, there's a bench, he sits on the bench. He opens his lunch box and he is starting to eat. All of a sudden, a dog comes close to him and jumps on the bench also. This is a very nice person, very kind-hearted person. So he takes the bread that he was going to eat and he breaks it, and he gives one piece to the dog, and he eats the other piece himself. And as he's finishing this first piece, he breaks another piece, he gives it to the dog, and he eats another piece, and he takes the third one, gives it to the dog, and he eats another one himself. And as he's doing that, people who are walking through that park, they start to look at him and see what he's doing. This story is coming from the past. In those days, dogs would be stray dogs who would be dirty. People would look down upon them. It wasn't time when he kept dogs as pets like people do nowadays. So people in that village started to think something really wrong with this guy. And so, as happens, one person talks to another, another person talks to another. Slowly, many people from the village gathered in that park. And as they gathered, here he's sitting on the bench with the dog and he's feeding the dog and he's eating one himself and feeding the dog. There's a whole group of people who's there and they started to laugh and they started to ridicule him. So he was a calm and peaceful person. He kept his calm, but after a while, when so many people started to laugh at him and ridicule him, he asked them a question. He said, "What are you laughing at?" The people said, "We can imagine you eating here with the dog and giving the dog your own food. So what are you really doing here?" This person very beautifully replied, right now, a light of God and another light of God is sitting on the bench. And one light of God is feeding another light of God. And people said, What are you talking about? Are you sane? We see you, a human being, and we see a dog, an animal, and we see you feeding this dog. So what is the light of God that you're talking about? And he said, in reality, even though to you I look like another human being, I am a soul, and the light of God is in me. Similarly, this dog, which you call a dog, might look like just a dog to you. But in reality, there's a part of God in this dog too. And rather than just look at the outer signs of both of these beings that you see, if you would elevate yourself to the level where you can see the light of God shining through these beings, then you would realize that these are not two different beings. This is the same one which is sitting with another one which is similar. Now, as the people understood that, they started to realize maybe what he's saying makes sense. And they said, we are very, very sorry. We hope we did not offend you too much. We did not understand what you were doing. And we hope you're not mad at us. And he said, no, there's no question to be mad. I just think that some lights of God, which is you, are laughing at a light of God, which is me. And I feel if God is really enjoying that, then I'm happy. So this person had elevated himself. He'd gotten to the skill, he'd gotten to the talent that God gave him to realize that he was not the body, he was not the mind, that he was soul. The talent of stilling the body and stilling the mind, to be able to experience ourselves as we truly are. We all have that skill within ourselves. It is up to us to be able to make use of that skill. If all of our attention goes into the skills of this world, and even if we gain some of them, they're just temporary. Each and every human being is very, very special. We've been given the human frame, which has all the faculties which are required by us to know God. We have been given everything that we need. A question is to make use of those skills. If we don't make use of them, they just fade away. To be able to make use of those skills, we need to focus our attention in the right arena. Everything is within ourselves. We want to gain skills of this world to get some happiness and joy for ourselves. And so all the joys which are going to be lasting are all within ourselves. As we focus our attention within, not only do we experience vistas of light, but many, many other revelations start to open up to us. And when we experience that which is beyond the physical, there's so much joy in that experience that that joy remains with us for long periods of time. And as we experience that more and more and more, then we will be in a state in which we are totally fulfilled at all times. And that is the talent that we need to experience. We all have that, irrespective of who we are. One who has experienced the light of God within themselves, when they meet someone else, they don't think whether this person is poor or rich. They don't think whether this person is from one culture or another. They don't think whether this culture believes in one faith or another. They don't look at the color of the skin of the person. They don't look at the way that person is clothed. What they realize is that is another part of God through which the light of God is shining brightly. What they realize is that's an extension of themselves. What they realize that we're all connected. And as we have that realization, then we will find that the greatest challenge that we can have is what we are experiencing for ourselves. It's all a question of where we focus our attention. It's all a question of getting to the truth of why we're alive. It's all a question of recognizing the very purpose of our existence. When we look at the life of the great saints and mystics, they've always exhorted us to know ourselves and to know God, because that is the area from where perpetual fulfillment comes into our life. Each and every faith talks about sitting in silence, communing with the Lord. Whether you call it meditation, whether you call it praying with attention, whether you call it inversion, going within, these are all different names for similar activities. Because the realization that the Creator is within each and every one of us, the realization that we have a connection with the Creator, the realization that we're all special, is felt in each and every faith. So let us meditate for a few minutes. Please sit as comfortably as you can. Close your eyes very gently, just like you close them when you go to sleep. Your eyeball should be straight, focus 8 or 10 inches in front of you. And as you close your eyes, those of you who have been initiated in the mysteries of the beyond, please do your Simran. Those of you who are new here, please repeat any name of God that you feel comfortable with. This repetition of God's name should be done mentally and not out loud. I pray to God Almighty to help each and every one of us connect with the divine power within and to experience the divine light of God within ourselves. We'll be sitting for a few minutes. It's my prayer to the three great spiritual masters of the past century, Hazur Baba Savan Singh Ji Maharaj, Param Sant Kripal Singh Ji Maharaj, and Dayal Purush Sant Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj, to help each and every one of us experience the spiritual light in its effulgence. My best wishes are with each and every one of you, and I'll be getting you out of this meditative state in a few minutes. प्लीज़ लीव ऑफ, छोड़ दीजिए जी।